First umeborrow 3k
Yes.
na uko na 3k
Yes.
na umeuza kala mbili. So hata huwezi rudisha ile do ya?
Huwezi rudisha do. Lakini ni roommate wako si ameona hujauza.
That's why I borrowed. Kala za 3k.
No. The thing is,
mimi naweza mpea kala za 3k.
The thing is,
leo ni kama tunapata all the answers za pending questions on the concept of return on investment.
My major thing ilikuwa I have 100 bob, I get 20 nakuwa kept aside, nabaki na 100 yangu. Because that 20 I got it from someone else, haikuwa yangu.
Aye.
Exactly. The only thing I used was the product, which was not me. The product I gave to the other person, I invested 100, akanipea 20 juu. But then this money wasn't mine, so I'll keep it aside. To accumulate it, ikuwe another 100, nikuwe na 200 now.
Our guest for this episode, Felix Omondi of Phoelix Fashions and Kioo Ngozi Leather, is a manufacturer, and today he tells us what it's like to compete with already established brands in the shoes and leather products industry.
I'm not better yet, but then they're doing it. And they're human beings like me. Maybe the information they have is what I don't have. So let me get that information. I don't have the capability of having the machines, but then I can brand myself like butter. And from branding now, I'll be able to produce 3 pairs. Wow, I can produce 3,000 pairs, me I'll do my 3. And make a lot of noise about those 3 na ziende. And then scale it up, just like I did with my 20 shillings.
Felix Omondi has very interesting perspectives on the concept of starting from the bottom.
In that unaifanya, mwingine na make kusucceed, but then wewe, every day you're failing.
Did you invest the 40k into the nonsense ama
No,
wakati learn before?
Nilikuwa nimelearn before. So it was not something that I'll go to and do it now with SportPesa.
Okay.
SportPesa ilikuwa way back, I think the high school days.
Na strategies za kutoka block by force.
If I face something, it's either killing me or I'm killing it. If it happens not to kill me, it means I'll have killed it. Only that. So when you have that mindset, it's everything in. It will take emotions, it will take your friends, it will take your relatives, it will take your time, close to everything. If you want it to succeed, from my end, I'll give it my all.
And you know the statement umesema, when you're facing something, you're either killing it or it kills you. You know how ironical it is that this was once a cow.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm your host, Dr. Ngozi, and here's another reason to stay subscribed to our channel. Kama uja subscribe, maze, this right here is another reason to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications bell. Wadau, quick word kabla show ianze. Kama uko na restaurant mahali, nataka kukupea idea ya kuongeza kwa CV. Azina kupea formula yenye ukijintroduce kwa biashara yako unaweza ambia msee, na mimi pia ni msee wa IT. How? Simple. It's because of how easy it is to set up the Odoo POS. That is a point of sale. And Odoo has one specifically tailored for restaurants. Now, the Odoo POS for restaurant is a simple, intuitive application, but the value it adds to the day-to-day operations of your business cannot be understated. But let's not climb the tree from the top. To answer the basics, Odoo ni nini? Now, Odoo is an all-round business management platform with all the applications you need to run your business. Iko ni HR, accounting, project management, you name it, Odoo wako nayo. Now, when it comes to restaurants, the Odoo POS brings a whole new level of efficiency. Utapata features kama floor management, which allows you to customize the floor layout of your restaurant using a graphical editor. This means that you can add, move, or remove tables as you wish. A customer needs to switch tables? No problem. You can transfer their order to another table with zero confusion. And here's where it gets even better. With the Odoo POS for restaurants, you can go paperless. The system automatically prints a clean, professional receipt with your logo and customer details, which you can print or email directly to your customer in seconds. Na hii sasa ndio game changer. The Odoo POS for restaurants iko na feature ya self-ordering where customers can handle everything from their smartphone. From placing an order to making the payments. So, kazi yako inabaki tu ni kuleta mbwembwe kwa meza. Now think about it. How much time and energy does that save you? How to set this up? Super easy. Just a few clicks and you're ready to go. Tumia link tumekuwekea kwa description ya video to get started. And remember, the first application you choose on Odoo is free for life, and that includes hosting and support. And you can always add more apps as your business grows, and the prices are very pocket friendly. Weka biashara yako in order na Odoo. Kupanga restaurant yako ni rahisi sana manzi. Link ndio tumekuwekea hapa kwa description ya video. Don't miss out. So, history ni story ya viatu, manufacturing, na leather products, Kioo Ngozi the brand na Felix Fashions. But first, itaanzia place weird. Safari yako na JKUAT ilishaje?
Safari ya JKUAT, life happens, and when it happens, at times it's best to accept. Okay. Not everything go how we want it to go, but ikifika level, you have to make a decision between a hard surface and a rock. You choose the lesser destructive one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so ilifika level, those two things could not work because you have to be a student, you also have to be a parent, you also have to be a hustler, you have to be a business person.
Your statement ni deep sana. Na
Yes.
I think I have to declare that I have a special relationship na JKUAT.
Yes.
Na relationship yangu na JKUAT imekuwa evolve. But ukisema there's a time inafika you have to make decisions. How far in are you? Na ulikuwa unasomea nini? Just to set the pace, audience yetu wajue story yako inaanzia.
Okay. Nilijoin na 2019 to do geospatial information science. It's an engineering field about survey, niseme digital survey. So joining kuna ile passion of I'm aiming for this, I'm aiming for this, and then along the way unakuta you don't have all the arsenals you need to meet whatever you are targeting. So ikifika hiyo level, you don't surrender but you accept. It's not a defeat, but then some fights, when you continue, you are seeing chances are so high you are going to fail. You rather accept the thing and flow with what's working.
Failing sio academically lakini. Sio kwa academics.
The major reason why you are in school is for academics. So when academics is not working, that's when you have failed. So what influences the failure is maybe what you are aiming for. But then the fail is on academics. Because the thing is, the major reason uko JKUAT ni, the major reason I was in JKUAT ilikuwa so that I get my degree finally.
Yes.
So when you decide to leave, it means you are not getting your degree, or rather you are leaving. So when you don't get your degree, you are failed. Or rather the society will view it as a failure. Or when you are leaving, you will see it as failure. But then maybe it's just an opportunity to view and explore something else that maybe nature wanted you to go in that direction. So ilikuwa story na academics too. Lakini si ile because you are stupid. Ni ile, it needs your time. Everything that you do needs your time. And when you are at a position whereby lazima hustle, and also ukujia huku ukwe student, and then unapata kitu kama GIS, Geospatial Information Science, there are days whereby you are having classes from 7 to 7. Each class ni 3 hours, so that is 4 lessons per day. So ukilenga moja, the whole lesson is gone. Ukiwa outside data for 1 hour, your connection between the previous class to the next class umeikosa. And once umeikosa, and then you do it frequently because lazima ulipie exam, lazima ulipe school fee, lazima ulipe rent, lazima ukwe Felix, lazima ukwe mwanaume, so lazima uende the other side of hustling. Lakini saa hii ni kitu yenye it needs your dedication, it needs your time, which was something I needed, but then imefika level you have to decide, will you continue with this? Because ukifail this part of the business, you'll not be able to pay your school fee. And ukienda kwa biashara, unapata haujapata time ya to dedicate for the classwork, to dedicate for maybe practicals and the lessons. Okay. So ikifika wakati unafaa ufanye exam, unafaa ufanye your cards, hauna the knowledge that you need on the table for you to be able to pass the exams. But then it's because you didn't get the time to do whatever was necessary during that time. So nikajaribu kubalance the two, but ilifika mahali una balance huku una feel like you have given it half your energy. Niseme kama biashara, you have given it half your energy, and then the half your energy umeleta kwa education. So education pia itakupea half the results that you expect, biashara inakupea half the results. So when you get half results, ukikuja balance nayo huku story na exams na tuition fees and all that, mahesabu haziingiani. So ikafika level you have to make a decision which one is flowing. And then sijui ni kama ni story na being a perfectionist or ni kujua, niseme nilikuwa najua my capabilities. So ukifika exam results zinarudi and you're like, this is the grade I've got, it's mine, and it's not because I'm foolish, but I didn't have the time to prepare for this fight in terms of doing the exam. And what was the reason why I didn't get enough time to prepare for this? Nilikuwa the other side, biashara that is. And why was I there? Because I needed to feed this other part, which is education. So I didn't waste a time, like I didn't make bad decisions the other side, but then results shafika. So what do? You accept. okay, accept, but ukiona the next time pia it's close to you have to face the same thing, you kind of come to a position unakaa chini unajiuliza, now what next? Will I be giving half results huku or getting half results huku, also getting half results huku? Which one matters the most between these two? Which one will go with me long term? And which one do I have more control over? Like which one, if I get into, I'll be able, nikipeana 100%, I'll get 100% results. So ilifika mahali I have to weigh the two. Education hapa, let's assume nimepata first class honors, which is a theory, but let's assume nime give it my all, nika get that degree. What will I get out of it wakati nimetoka sasa nika join shule? Like nika join now the outside world. I have a first class honors theoretically, but then that is the best I can get from schools. So I'm getting outside with that first class honors. What can it give me in terms of life? What's the best it can give me? And then unaenda unakaa chini unapiga scope to all those people who have been employed, to the people you know wenye walitoka before you. Roughly, without taxation, labda ni kitu 80 or 100. We should not pretend that we don't need money. At the end of the day, that is why we are doing everything.
80 or 100
80K.
What? Oh, in terms of salary.
In terms of salary, yeah. Now talking in terms of salary.
Yes.
Niko na first class honor yangu. Theoretically, getting out with that. Now nikiamua, now when I was starting to weigh these two, niseme the best I can get from school ni that first class honors. Nimeingia kwa field na first class honors yangu.
Salary?
Yes, in terms of salary, what will this thing give me? Without taxation, labda ni 80. And the moment imekupea 80 per month.
In around 56K.
Yeah, around 56K. So with this 56K, with the people knowing that you have been educated, umegraduate, there is a responsibility that comes with that. Also, you're a man. So assuming also that will go with the average age-wise, labda umegonga 28, hapo unaelekea 30. So someone is also coming, if you're a man. Someone is coming into your life. So there are responsibilities.
Someone is coming
into your life.
You first.
Yeah. Okay. There is you, and then there is the person that is coming because of age, and then most likely as time goes by, kids will come if you decide that is the life you want to be a family man.
Kids nilielewa hapo kwa someone is coming.
Yes, and then exactly.
Yes.
So you're having a burden whereby you're having your family, you're having yourself, you're having another family because of the wife, and then there is the family to the wife, the mother and the father. So these three, almost 4 things, zinakuja kwako. And the best thing you have is maybe 20, we have talked about 56K. So with this 56K, you have to figure out wakati unaingia kwa ofisi uko umevaa vizuri, wakati unaingia home uko umekuja na sapa, na the rent is paid, kama uko kwako lazima umejenga and all that. So nikawa na weigh these two, leave alone the emotions of people will see me nimegraduate, wazazi watakuwa wamefurahi because I've had a gown at long last. And then the normal way people know that once you graduate, when the ulem say, I think it was a view ya kitambo, but then with the current world that you are in, it's something that the value it had initially haina sahi, but still some people look at it as valuable. So wakati nilikuwa na way nikasema, even though this is what I wanted, this is the dream I had, this is what I fought for, na nikapata that opportunity ya kujoin JKUAT, but then it's high time now how to accept whatever is happening. So nika look at the other part ni biashara. And business yet ilikuwa imekubali, but then there are no limits to what amount you'll get when you do your business right. It has no limitations to experience. And then it's something that you can speed up. Haina story na you have to do it for 4 years for you to be at certain level. If you sit down and concentrate vizuri na speed up, you can speed it up within months na uko level where huyu mwingine atakuwa amemaliza 4 years. Like haina limitation.
Ini mathematics ulikuwa unafanya at this time. At
this time, imefikia ile position, umefail all through mpaka umechoka na the failures, and not that when it done that, but then you have not given it effort. So you have to weigh things before you make that decision. Do you look at point of, I have to make a decision now. One thing has to go for this thing to work. One has to go. So which one will weigh more weight if I let it go?
Na marketability, as you do this mathematics, ushapiga hesabu ya mbele ukaona the best you can get in terms of a salary ni range ya 80 to maybe 1,000, but you'll have to give 7 to 7 p.m., 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Of yourself for 4 years ama 5 ama 6?
It was 4 years. 4 years. Yes.
Na geospatial umesema ni hiyo jina ya survey.
Yeah,
it's a branch of engineering. Hii wale wa kuchungulia ndio Ama ni different geospatial?
Geospatial, information science. So information science, it helps to make decisions. Like mtu anakuja, I think it can be applied close to everywhere. Kama hapa, what made you to decide that this is the best venue? So mtu atakuja analyze the building, analyze the security, analyze the flow, analyze the traffic, at what time do you need to be here? So that is the information a geospatialist will have to collect so that the final decision is made. So kuna those tools that you feed in the information that will help you now to decide that. That is just one application.
Now, how do you decide such a taxing course, right? Na ulikuwa sure na marketability. Unajua pia I'm excited about your story because as we progress into it, like 80 to 100, uko sure nayo bado after your 4 years unaingia kiwanja kutafuta kazi?
Lazima, any course you do, lazima uingie kwa kiwanja. It's guaranteed. Lazima, because wherever you are going, there is someone there. You're not going into a vacuum. Kuna mtu ako in that position, you have to fight to get the person out when you're the best.
Okay.
So lazima ukue kwa kiwanja, prove yourself. So ilikuwa imagination. Yes, I was aware of that. And then it was an imagination of, if I happen to get the best in this degree, which is a first class.
So your first class ndio sasa umejipea mshahara ya 80 to 100.
And which is not guaranteed because lazima upige hustle. There is no, unless uko na connection, but still the connections will demand you to prove yourself. Hata hiyo connection, ikiwa lazima uingie kwa ofisi, hautakuwa na connection and then you get there to sit down. You have to perform. Hata kama your connection. And this was a situation, the connection is not there. You have to figure it out yourself. But then figuring it out myself was not an issue because I knew if I have it, human beings are people who can listen. And if I have something of value that they need, definitely they'll have to maybe accommodate me.
Powerful statement.
Yes.
So now, how do you choose geospatial information science?
What made me to
choose why that? Do you choose it? Because I want, kwa akili yangu, I'm trying to standardize, like if that's the fate, unajua the fate of what awaits you after 4 years in terms of the salary yenye unaweza pata entry if you get a first class honors, kama ni standard across courses, ama you don't think about this as you're choosing the course.
Or when there is I think it's a mistake that happens in the society that you're having. Most of us after Form 4, we just happen to choose by names. I don't think there is anyone who do go because of there is a final destination they're aiming for. Okay, from how I've experienced it, it's a gap that is there. Because umaliza Form 4, the only thing you know is chemistry, biology, the basic high school thing. And then you're being told you need to decide a course that is going to decide the rest of your life. Because that is your career. And once umeenda ukajifix into it, ukajoin admission, ukasonga nayo, most of the students don't think about it. Unakuja unapata, some will have regrets, anasema mzazi ndiye alifanya, I didn't want this, I found myself in this, but time is going. Lakini I do feel that the time frame left for students to decide what course they are going for after Form 4 until joining. Wengine hata, those things you apply hata before tumalize. We apply for the courses before tumalize Form 4.
So unaingia JKUAT kama ujui hata geospatial information science, kusema ukweli ni nini?
Yeah. The thing was, wakati nilikuwa namaliza, I wanted something that is more of geography and maths. Okay. 2 things, and then physics ikuja iongeze. So geography, maths and physics they were my best subjects when I was in high school. Geog ilikuwa A, I think maths ilikuwa A minor, and then physics ilikuwa B minor. So I wanted something that is in that field because that is what wakati nilikuwa high school, ili blend na mimi vizuri, si kitu yenye nilikuwa na strain, even though kuna demands mingi, but then I would sit comfortably to meet the demands of the 3 subjects. Okay. So I just looked at, I want something that is in that field. Labda niongeze na computer.
Ata it has nothing to do with the opportunities that are there. No. Wewe ulikuwa unapiga hesabu na the subjects that you're good at.
That is the information I had.
Yes.
That's another loophole. In that, the teachers when wanakufunza, the only thing they know is the subject they're teaching you. Mwenye anakufunza Kiswahili ajui history, ajui geography. Yeye ni Kiswahili anajua. Mwenye anakufunza maths anajua maths pekee. Ukimpeleka kwa Kiswahili umempiga chenga. Sasa unataka kumuuliza about the career subjects. Whatever they have is information which is just an opinion of someone else. Just in case upate mwalimu anajua about the subject, They are opinions they have been collecting from the people who are maybe in that field.
And it's not even backed by any data.
It's not backed by any data. It's not backed by any evidence. Whoever told them, whatever told them, haujua alikuwa at what emotional state wakati alisema architecture is the best subject. Or rather engineering is the best course. Haujui at what state alikuwa.
So did the rumored graduates.
Yes. In that, hujui if the person ako biased or ako real. There is no scientific data that iko na detachment ya emotions. Most decisions the human beings are backed with emotions. How did the person feel when saying it, or rather, how have they been feeling with whatever has been happening in their life? Lakini here is a situation whereby your life is being decided by someone mwenye yeye the information ako nayo are just opinions. But then you have to rely on that because hauna anything else. Unapata? Okay. The only people you have access to are the teachers. Maybe your parents. Now most of our parents, and a normal African kid, most of our parents ni wale wenye unapata, they are kind of expecting you to be the one to solve their problems. So hawana the solutions, or rather the advice that you need to solve the problem at hand. They are using you as a shield.
Understood.
Hii shida nilikuwa nayo, and to a degree they don't accept it, but then it happens to be walishindwa kuisolve. So they have you as a backup. Kuna hii shida, usijikute hapa. Ama tujaribu tusaidie kusolve this one. But then they don't give you the information that you need this tool, you need this tool, you need this tool to solve that. So watu ukienda ukae chini waulize, which is the best course to do? They'll tell you something they were told by a friend, or rather maybe a relative, or someone else they have seen in that course, or rather in that career. But then we are different. Hawana that, the whole spectrum of information. And utapata kuna mwenye anaenda na kufix into this. I want you to do this because amona mtoto wa labda rafiki yake ama mtoto wa relative wake fulani anafanya 1, 2, 3 things. So majorly what I'm saying is the information you have when finishing Form 4, it's not that detailed to make the decision of what career I'm going to do. So najikuta the only thing you know ni subjects zenye umekuwa ukifanya. Okay, for me that is what I looked at because that is what I felt. Ime blend na mi. Geography, physics, maths, those 3. So na Kiswahili mi sikutaka kujua, biology na chemistry sikutaka kujua. In fact, something happened so funny that KCSE, the good grades that were there, biology niliamua kusacrifice. I got my D+ comfortably. Because
a strong D+.
A strong D+. Because the thing was, I didn't want to do anything to do with biology. Okay, sijui kama it's kind of weird, but then mina wangule mse, I'll work with what's taking the least energy from me.
But ulihepa biology in high school, sahi unatumia biology
kutengeneza kwa field ingine.
Yeah. But carry on.
Yeah, I get the point. Maybe I'll get into it bandai. So nile, what is it that is working for me? And let me flow with that. So the information I had is that maths imekubali, geography imekubali, physics imekubali. Na set imekubali juu ya performance ya the grade umepata kwa KCSE, labda exam ile za ilikuwa rahisi. Imekubali from the lessons you have been reading, from the books you have been reading, and how you have been blending with the information you have been collecting all through. So this is story na results. Results imekubali, yes, but then hii part ingine pia imekubali before the results. Labda mwenye alimark alikuwa biased, huwezi jua. So I didn't rely on the results. I relied on how have I been feeling and going through the whole process since Form 1 mpaka nikamaliza. So yeah, I looked at those 3, physics, geography na maths. So when I was doing my research Sunday nikajikuta hiyo geospatial. And then nikafanya 2, 3 things about it, maybe a research history na usunini, what career will it take me to, something that most high school students don't do. Ile ni mzazi amesema, wengine hata they do it unconsciously. Mzazi anataka hii ni nini, but then this is something that is deciding the course of your life forever if you happen to finish it na uendelee nayo. So for me, after doing the calculations za physics, geography na maths nikajikuta niko hiyo geospatial, and then kulikuwa na story na survey, but then I fell into geospatial because geospatial is also more of technical. You need to have those software skills and computer skills added into it. And then that one was an advantage because the future, from how I was viewing it, the future was more of technology. So kama technology ilikuwa kwa hii field na iko na hizo subjects 3, nikaona let me settle with this.
Okay.
Tutasail nayo tuone mahali itatufikisha.
Very nice and powerful submissions.
Yes.
But then again, ukisema umeingia kufanya geospatial, unasema pia unafanya hustle. So you are balancing.
Yeah.
So now hii in summary, mtu kienyeji anasema wewe ulijua pesa kitambo. But sasa in your story, kuhustle inamaanisha nini? How do you even get started? Umeenda JKUAT kusoma, umeenda JKUAT kusoma, but unasema una mix na kuhustle. You understand? And one had to go. What are you doing and how do you get into it?
It has a story behind it.
Tell
because
kuinama, hiyo tumesikia sana.
Si story na kuinama. Kuinama is not the major deal. Kuinama unaweza enda upige story. It's part of it, but it's a small portion of the ingredients.
Oh Lord. Tuanzie tu, tupatie tu hiyo story ndio tule ground ya mahali story inatoka.
Okay.
Kuinama is a small part of it. Aya,
What happened when I joined, I was expecting things will flow, in that the school fee will be taken care of. Yangu itakuwa kusoma. Okay, that is the mentality I had. Ndio maana hata niliget into GIS. I knew it was something that was going to take my energy vizuri.
By that is government or?
I joined through the government, yes. KUSPS. But then KUSPS and HELB does not provide for everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lazima ukuwe na the rent kama unaishi nje. Lazima ukuwe na certain little amount for shopping. And then the money enye walikuwa napeana kitambo during our parents' time reduce all through mpaka sahi. And then unapata pia the demand, KUSPS and HELB cannot contain it all. So lazima ujue a way to supplement it. So I knew there is going to be a way to have this thing supplemented. So my thing itakuwa niingie class nisome ningoje first class yangu. Maybe whatever grade. Mi sikuwa na haja na the grade I'm going to get. But then I knew I'm going to give it my all. Lakini ikafika, usha join, usha fanyiwa admission. And then first semester definitely utakuja ujue how you will maneuver through it. Which in my case ilikuwa Harambee. I had to hold to Harambee. So that is when the reality started to hit me that bro, even though umesoma, but then hapa, kuna kagap mahali, kuna something you didn't train for, but then you'll have to fight it. So I did my 2 Harambees, nika join JKUAT. So after joining, nile unasema, I'm in the war. I wasn't sure if I needed this fight, but then it's kinda, nishaingia kwa ring, na nikama nitafight watu wawili. But me I trained for one.
Okay.
So how do I sell with the other person already? Ring ishalokiwa. Time zako zimepewa 12 rounds. By 12 rounds I mean 4 years kama ni story na education.
Unajua ukiongea story ya hustle,
yes.
Na haujaruka kwa hiyo hustle, unaongea stories za lock, ni rahisi sana mtu misinterpret. Because lock na kuhustle kampo, it's a totally different
Two different things.
Yeah. So what hustle do you get into? Like yes, umeingia kwa zima, you're fighting, you have to fight with one. What are the opportunities ziko hapa? Because I believe this is your entry into business.
Exactly. That's my entry into business. So what happened wakati nilikuwa nakuja kujoin ni nini umeona lazima you have to find a way to supplement 1 to 3 things. So kuna siku nikiwa kwa hii basi inaitwaje? Kuna hii basi Climax. Kuna unajua Climax from Western. That Climax is the best I could afford.
Oh, see a JKUAT.
Not from
JKUAT na Climax ni story different.
No. Not from JKUAT. Yes. Nilikuwa kwa Climax ndo naingia Nairobi. I think nilikuwa nakuja second semester. And then ika happen wakati tunaingia inaitwa country bus. Lazima ufuatie njia ya Karioko.
Uliletwa JKUAT na gari inaitwa Climax.
Nikitoka home nilikuja Nairobi na Climax.
The jokes write themselves, but carry on.
But it's good to accept. Acceptance brings more peace. So me, that was me. That's my story. And it's not something to be maybe have an issue with it. That is the 1 + 1 giving 2. Exactly. So that is mine. So wakati nilikuwa nakuja with that Climax, I remember, nikapita hapo Karioko, your roundabout. So kupita hapo, nikaona hizo Masai sandals ziko displayed hapo Karioko roundabout.
Okay.
And I had the passion for the Masai sandals in that, ni kitu naweza taka nikuwe nikivaa. Sijui ni passion, sijui. But kuna interest nilikuwa nayo with the sandals. So nikasema, nikishuka, I'll come back niulizie bei, and then maybe nione later on. Haikuwa point of coming for business. Lakini wakati nilikuja nikauliza bei, nikaambiwa bei ingine, nikaona opportunity. This thing is not the same price nimekuwa nikiuziwa na Masai. And I'm here already.
Wewe ulikuwa umeiona tu unataka kubai, wewe ubai.
Yangu. Sikuwa nimeamua what field I want to venture into in terms of hustle.
Yes.
Yeah, so nikajikuta hapo niko Karioko. So when I asked the price, Nikaona
walikuambia how much na ulikuwa una expect how much?
I was expecting something like maybe 700,
Yes.
800 there because that is the price yenye iko nje. But then sikuwa na expectation pia too much because the moment you see something displayed in bulk, it means the price iko chini. Sikuwa tu na a figure, but then I knew it was going to be below what Masai are selling, the price at which Masai are selling them for.
Yes.
So I knew that, lakini sikujua ni what amount it's going to be. So nikaenda pale nikijua itakuwa below 700, below 800, lakini zingine nikaambiwa 250, zingine nikaambiwa 350. The highest amount ilikuwa 350.
But wewe ulikuwa unajua ni 700.
Okay, mind-wise nilikuwa najua inaweza kuwa below 700, but I didn't have a figure.
But wakakupiga less than half the price.
Yeah, less than half the price.
Nice.
So nikaona opportunity. So nikasema labda we'll try with this. This is the information I have, I'll go with this. So nikaenda shule, nilikuwa na roommate wangu fulani, Festus. So kuingia huko nikamwambia manze, nimekuwa place fulani, nimeona hii, but then capital yangu, I think ilikuwa na 3k kwa mfuko. Capital yangu will not be enough to give us a variety that we can hawk around. Yes. So I think akaniongezea 3k, nikakuwa na 6k. So nikarudi Karioko. Nikachukua sandals zangu kadhaa. Nikarudi nazo JKUAT. By then nilikuwa nakaa ndani ya shule, the student hostels. Yeah, nilikuwa nakaa ndani ya shule. So nikaingia na stock yangu, lesson ikiisha, wakati wa labda majorly jioni, wakati wale watu wana prepare for sleep and all that from K to 7 hadi 9, mimi nitatembea around niuzie wase. Ambie, I have this one, you can try it out, you can nini. Hivyo. So hustle yangu ikapick from there.
So ulikuwa unashika comrade how much?
The normal price ya Masai.
Good vibes.
700, 800 hapo.
Okay. So inamaanisha ulikuwa able ku convert haraka ama pia
no, the conversion wasn't that haraka.
Yes.
Because I think it was a matter of my personality kind of messed it to a degree, because you are coming with weight, and you know something funny with human beings, they can read your vibe very fast.
Okay.
So that is a reality. I had to accept that, even though I'm having a business here, but then unafika mahali, the person will feel your disparate position. Sijui kama ni mimi nilikuwa too alert to notice that, but then I felt this person sija fail kumuuzia because hange inunua, but because the vibe at which nimekuja nayo hapa, it's not that
sija kuelewa. You are conscious about this. Umekuja na sandals.
Yes.
Ume invest 6k,
yes.
Umekuja na sandals kuuza, sindio? You're hooking. Me first of all, now, I'm wondering, vile uko sure you will get a market kwa comrades, is it because you would have bought them, ama you assume this would be bought by a comrade? You understand?
It wasn't, okay, I get your point. It wasn't an issue of will they buy or not. It was an issue of I have this thing and I have to sell it. This is the information I have. Nimeenda pale nimepata na 350. Mmezoea mnauziwa 700, mbona usinunue? Ukikataa, it's a loss on your side to a degree.
Hiyo ni kiburi poa. So now ukikuja nayo when you approach a comrade, what's your first experience you're selling? Because this is your first time.
Yeah.
You've never sold anything before.
Yes.
So what's your experience kuuza? Like, do you remember the first time you sell actually? And did you sell for what you expected to sell for?
Okay, there is a story before this. There is a business before this business.
Twende pole pole.
Yeah.
Unafuata, yes.
Yeah, so labda huko kuna experience already nilikuwa na. I expected there will be going to be a rejection because you are going to someone you didn't plan for this. Hatuku agree that you are going to knock to my door and then come in sandals at this time so that I'll take it. And then the money is his. Hamuku budget that atakuja chukue sandal. And then who tells you that they need that?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a matter of I have the sandals and to a degree they'll say no, but then
you're prepared for this then. You're prepared for rejection.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Like you need to be prepared for that so that when it happens, you don't get surprised. That's how life is.
Hauna hata ile kitu ya, by the way, unajua nimekuja kusomea nini JKUAT?
No.
Geospatial Information Science. Nafanya nini na, for those who don't understand, for polite language, the Masai sandals ni akala, sindio?
Exactly.
So now, geospatial na akala, there's nowhere zinaingiana.
Yeah.
There's nowhere zinaingiana at all. Sindio?
Exactly.
So now, wewe, hakuna pride yati nimekuja kusoma nini. Yes.
My thing was, I need money to supplement whatever I'm doing. I need money to be able to be Felix when I get into class. And to be able to have a relaxed mind that my rent is paid and there is something in my pocket that I can use to eat. I just needed that money. So kufika pale mambo na the course I'm doing, the pride, who cares? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Ule mtu anafanya labda beauty and beauty therapy management, hiyo ndio field ako comfortable nayo. Sasa umekuja hapo na mwambia story na GIS, geospatial. It's bringing water and oil and kujaribu kuzimix. Hazingiani. So hide your oil, know that when I come here I need to be water for us to blend with this person. Yes. So I think that is where I missed, because unakuja na ile serious vibe ya engineering. Unajua engineering iko more demanding. You have to have your brain close to 24/7. But then kuna zile courses that you can decide to be freestyle. Part ingine ukiamua kwa freestyle, most of the time you are going to lose. So umeingia pale, you are aiming to make a sale, but umeingia with the mindset of an engineer. Okay, later on is when I came to see all this.
How do you soften?
I didn't manage to. Siku manage.
Au kuuza?
Okay, the sales were happening, but then most of them were my friends.
Ulikuwa manakala za 6K?
Most as could go through how I was expecting.
You didn't sell?
Maybe 1 or 2, and then most of them walikuwa ni marafiki wangu. Ile mtu anasema manze, unaona tu jamaa amekuhurumia.
Bro, na akala zishangi. So hata kama ulianza kuziva hiyo time hujazimaliza.
Haziwezi kwa zimeisha. Exactly. And then zilikuwa ni combination ya ladies na gents. So nenda uko na kala kwa bag kwa mgongo.
Uko na mademu wanavaa.
Not a color, but then the Masai sandals zenye wanauziwa the wazungu, the beaded one and all that.
Yes.
So not a color.
Yes.
These are the type yenye the sole is rubber, not tire.
Ungenipata ile time niko na believe je iko hata kunanga mademu. Ningeelewa hiyo. But sasa for context, nini first umeborrow 3K na uko na 3K na umeuza kala mbili. So hata huwezi rudisha ile do ya?
Huwezi rudisha do. Lakini ni roommate wako si ameona hujauza.
Kama unipea kala za 3K.
No. The thing is,
mimi nampea kala za 3K.
The thing is, it won't be a good business. You went for help and we sort partnered into it most of the time, or some of the time, because tulikuwa tunafanya course moja. So tutapata wakati tuko free, si wote tuko free. So kufanya hooking tutafanya pamoja most of the time. Lakini sasa
sold only 2 pairs tops.
Yes. Zilienda tu pair mbili. And then something funny happened. Corona came and hit. So wakati corona ili hit, ikabidi watu wameenda home. So uko na stock yako na wenye ulikuwa unataka kuuzia wameenda home. Yes. So I remember kwa gate nilikuwa natoka na stock yangu kwa gate nikashikwa. Because it's not allowed to have to be selling inside school, or rather the rules were those. Haufai kuuza ndani ya shule because kuna canteen, kuna wenye wamelipia kuuza. So wakati nilikuwa natoka na stock yangu, because ilikuwa hiyo duration ya corona, wali to release to end home. So wakati nilikuwa natoka nao kufika hivi main gate, bag ilikuwa too big, ikabidi ikuwe searched. Because of the stock niko nayo kwa mgongo. So kufika hapo security akanisimamisha akaniuliza ile tu kusearch. Kila mtu alikuwa anafanywa searching, so si ati nilikuwa main suspect. But then kufungua bag akapata imejaza akala, ikaleta question of this, hizi zote hizi kwa ni stock yako, you had mixed na lady stuff.
Yes.
Exactly. So akaniambia mbona ulikuwa unauza shule? Akaita the head of security, kaingizwa chamber. But then you have to survive either way.
You have to survive. Na akala kwanza kusell hata ungekuwa na strategy kama akala unajua umetengenezwa na tire, so ukiuzia msepe ya moja ananidi kuwa na spare.
Yeah, but then the one I was selling haikuwa ile tire, ilikuwa rubber. Kuna zenye ziko na soul different. Okay. Ilikuwa ni rubber, yes.
Ilikuwa rubber, there's a difference.
Yeah,
so but then you carry very beautiful, unajua uko very conscious.
Yeah.
Hapa kwa hii failure ya the first business, uko na story ya rejection,
exactly.
Uko na story ya approaching the customer,
exactly.
Uko na story how to manage losses.
Exactly.
Do you know what's going on at this time, ama wewe una survive tu, hii imefail, we go to the next?
Not that we go to the next. Why go to the next yet? This one haija go through.
What does that
There
mean?
is something I'm not doing right. That is why it haija go through. So it was a matter of me, not the business.
Okay.
If someone else is doing it and it's flowing, there is something you're not doing right. You as a person, not the business. Hizi vitu hazina akili.
Na ulikuwa unajua hivyo then?
No. Then wakati ili fail, I'm someone who will analyze the whole situation. So ndio ile yenye naenda na withdraw from the business I sit. Naenda na kaa chini najiuliza mbona hiki kitu sija manage kuuza?
Yes.
So si ati umekataa, haijakataa. it's a matter of there is something you need to learn. There is something you've been doing wrong. That's why you may fail. Yeah. So sit down, analyze the whole situation, compare everything, compare notes, not by inquiry, because most people will give you the wrong information, especially if you're doing business. Nile tu kana wewe mwenyewe jiputa hata situation whereby ungekuwa ni client na mtu mwingine amekuapproach venye ulimuapproach. Would you be able to take it?
Okay.
Yes. And then from there now utaona makosa yangu ilikuwa hii, makosa yangu ilikuwa hii, labda sikuenda na ile. Hapo ndio mahali niligundua the vibe.
Unaona ile subject ulipata D+. Kumbe ni Kiswahili haukuwa nayo.
Yes.
Kumbe ni Kiswahili haukuwa nayo.
Kiswahili was also something else. Amaluo. Sasa Kiswahili hapo lazima itasoma. Lakini si story na Kiswahili.
Biashara ni Kiswahili sasa.
Biashara majorly ni Kiswahili, but tuachane na Kiswahili, labda ni Ngeli. Kiswahili is a language like English to flow through, but then now how do you read your clients or rather your customers and come with their products? This one now nilikuja nikalan baadaye. How am I able to see someone, see a problem in whatever they are doing, or rather how they are living, and then come as a solution through the product I'm giving them. So when I'm approaching this person, first let me highlight the problem, hata kama haujui. Once nime highlight you're having a problem here, and then this one I position it, nikwambia this is the solution, already nitakuwa nime create a need, hata kama haiko.
Umenichanua. Sasa naenda kuta crush wangu nimwambie you need a man.
Exactly. The moment you do that, acha niachie hapo.
But unajua, I'm following this story because you are running one of the biggest locally manufactured shoes brand na leather products, ndio? So nataka kuona how you convert failure ya Akala, mmeuza pair mbili. Yes, umesha analyze kufanya. What next?
So what happened, nilikuja nikajigundua the problem is me. By then communication I had ilikuwa kind of poor because you are coming with some home traumas and also maybe childhood traumas and also frustrations because you are coming to do something and it's not working. Umejikuta you are having different battles that you did not sign for, but then you have to fight because already you are in the ring. So kuna that negative vibe uko nayo enye wakati umeapproach a client I feel.
The only thing kisirani.
Exactly, na kisirani.
Yes.
Ile una feel mbona usichukue kiatu, I need your dough. But then you're not entitled to the money. Ni yake na akona budget ingine alikuwa ameka nayo. So nikakuja nikagundua that is the problem I'm having as a person. And how do I solve it now? So kwenda kukaa chini hiyo time ya corona ile nipea period to analyze the whole business, test a lot of things and then adjust accordingly. Juu hatukuwa nayo shule. Tulikuwa home and then for almost a year. So that 1 year ikanipea time to concentrate on the thing, analyze, adjust, come back, analyze, adjust, come back, analyze, adjust, come back, all through.
What does this mean? Uko home, sindio? Are you testing products na different markets ama you're just calling yourself for a meeting?
Majorly ilikuwa calling myself for a meeting, and then also the products have to be there so that you test the information you fed into yourself and the data you gave out from processing from the brain. So lazima ukwe na product to jungle around with. So nikiwa home, the easiest success nilikuwa nayo ilikuwa mandazi za auntie. So nikajiingiza kwa mandazi za auntie. Ile pia sijawacha. The sandals sasa nilipeleka hiyo biashara home. So wakati nilienda home nikakuja na hizo biashara zangu. The Akala. But then this one is a different market. I'll see the students that I was targeting. So hapa maybe store na food will come and then I'll work with whatever I have at hand. So in that situation ilikuwa store na mandazi from auntie. So I went to talk to auntie. Nikamwambia auntie, mimi nataka nikoe nikikupea 100 bob, wewe nipe mandazi za 130. Nipate 30 bob juu.
Ngoja, ukamwambia ndakupatia?
Sikuna kuangana aspect of buying at wholesale.
Yes.
Yeah, so the thing was nimpea 100 bob. Anajua siwezi kula mandazi za 100.
Yes.
So it's to a degree nikawa ni kama supplier wake.
So you buy from her?
Yeah, I buy from her and then nikimpea 100 bob atanipea mandazi za 130.
So 30 bob ndio yako?
30 bob ndio yangu.
Okay.
From the investment ya 100 bob. So nikajaribu na hiyo and then something funny sasa hii ni kitu perishable. Si kama viatu zangu za Akala. Hii lazima I have to sell them within the day. Otherwise ikifika kesho na kesho kutwa stock imemwagwa. So itakuwa imemwagwa hivyo.
Ulikula mandazi za 130 mara ngapi?
Kadhaa.
Okay.
Kuna siku hadi nikapika chapo. Sijui nani alinipeleka kwa hiyo kierere. Lakini Nikasema labda I need to have supplement ya mandazi. Si kila mtu anaweza penda mandazi.
Yes,
Acha nitafute kitu different. Nikanunua 2 kg za ngano. Karibu niseme 2 kg za X. But then ilikuwa 2 kg ya ngano. So kuna 2 kg nikapika chapo zangu, nikijua already labda niko na target ya mandazi, si kila mtu atapenda mandazi, nikienda na chapo itakuwa fiti. Niliuza 2 for that day.
Chapati 2.
Na ujinga nilifanya, nilipika the whole 2 kg. So nikabaki na almost 28 chapos.
Ni ushago gani watu watambui chapati? Ama chapo zako zilikuwa hao?
The thing was, you are new in the market.
Kuingia na kiburi, unajua?
Exactly. Unaingia na expectations zenye ziko kwa akili yako. How you analyze the other person and their needs.
Kwani ulikuwa chapo 2 hivi?
Life happens, and when it happens you accept. So that's how it happened.
Chapati 2.
Out of 30. So 2 ndo zilienda, nikabaki na 28. I had to fight now, is it 28 ziishe mimi na 28 chapos before they expire, before they haribike.
Uko na deadline.
Exactly. Uko na deadline. So you have to equip breakfast, lunch, supper, breakfast, lunch, supper. Na hiyo ndo venye hiyo biashara ya chapo tukachana kabisa.
Ukaiangusha yote.
Nikasema mimi story na kupika chapo tena, acha niende 20. Hata nikichukua za 50, but anipe na 10 bob juu, anipe mandazi za 60 ni sawa. Acha nitapata hiyo 10 bob nikule, lakini mimi tena singi industry ya kupika.
Na ukipiga projection ya ati ukiinvest 100 bob ukule 30 bob ya juu, hauna end goal ati nataka kuaccumulate ili kusurvive tu.
See, your 30 bob is what you can for that day. Like this story na kuaccumulate into any figure, you'll accumulate vacuums. Like hiyo ndio information uko nayo. Hawezi go into a battle yenye watu wana fight na bomu na unajua kufight na mkono. Go kwa battle watu wana fight na mkono and accept. The bomb utafika huko wakati ume earn the skill.
Okay.
So for the moment being najua kufight na hata kani kidole moja, I'll fight with that. So ilikuwa mambo na hiyo 30 bob is what I have and know at that time.
Now, sasa just so that tukue na context, ni biashara ngapi umeingia ukianguka? Akala unatembea na akala za sijui 6,000, uko na akala by the way, akala za 6,000 na alafu chapati umeinvest chapo unaanguka. Like ni biashara ngapi umefanya ukianguka before you figure out where the problem is?
So the thing was, for me I didn't view them as kuanguka. Mi ilikuwa tu, I need to learn something from this and change as a person. The business haija fail, watu wanauza chapo kila mahali. There is something you're doing wrong. Learn that, accumulate it and move. If it's worth investing in the chapo, invest. But then if it's not, pick the lesson, move into the next.
So your chapati, if you had focused, you could go back in and then sell. Because there are people selling.
There are people selling it.
That's a very powerful thing, man.
Yeah, there are people doing it. There are people selling it. So it's a matter of you as a person, the business person.
Ama wanaosha pesa. Unajua tunaweza kuwa tunajijazia mavitu, because that's also another element in business. You may open a business thinking, I see other people are also succeeding. Unapata there are secrets to business that you don't know. You still maintain that ukiona watu wanafanya, there is still a chance. There is something you're doing wrong. You focus and you can get it right.
Maybe kukosa kuosha is what you're doing wrong. That can be something. If that is what they are doing, get a way of getting the information.
But there is something they are doing.
Yeah, there is something they are doing that you are doing wrong.
So information is key, actually.
Exactly. Get the information that you are missing out in. If you can't find it, then if you don't understand the whole scope, withdraw. So
if you don't understand
the whole scope of how this thing is being run, achana na, because you are engaging in something, hauna the weapons that you need to go through it. So if you don't have all the weapons, withdraw. Get yourself in a position mahali una feel you are using the least energy, getting more results.
So now kuna kitu, one of the most beautiful things umesema uko na magems hapa na pale. Umesema you quit school. I don't know kama hapa usha quit, but unasema your decision is based on, umeangalia ukienda naish hii course umalize, the best you can get ukipata first class honors ni a salary of between 80 to 100k, right? But when you go business, uko na nafasi ya kuscale. It only depends on you to determine how long do you need to make the 80k. Okay? Exactly. At what point do you start seeing the possibility of making an 80k kama una fail na 30 bob?
Nile, kama ukifail na 30 bob, the view was, how frequently can I be failing with this 30 bob, or how frequently can I be getting this 30 bob? By then ilikuwa matter of, I'm doing this for a whole day, niuze mandazi zangu for a whole day. But then maybe nikijikuta in a position whereby na sell to students, or rather maybe primary school kids, naweza pata 60 or 70 or exactly. So the frequency at which this can be happening is something that I learned at that point also.
Yes.
So how fast can this money, can I take 100 bob and come back with 30? Or rather, how fast can I go with 500 and come back with 30 times 5 is 150? How fast can this thing go?
So this is the scalability mindset. If I can get this 30 bob,
yes,
100 times niko na 3k.
Niko na 3k.
If I can get this 30 1,000 times, hiyo sasa ni kuangalia sasa big deal. Unaanza uko na 30,000. So akili yako ishaanza kuangalia
how fast can this
volumes.
Yes, how fast can this circulate and come back with that 30k? And do I have the audience that can give me that 30k? Is it here? Is it here at home? So when I figured that out, nika left. Nilirudi Nairobi before the corona thing ended. So hata sikungoja tuitwe shule. The school thing, wengine wakingoja ati shule itakuwa lini. Me already nilishakuwa like, this space is not giving me what I want. So I came to Nairobi before hata tuitwe shule. So ni leo nakuja na another the jungle, haujui, but then you feel maybe this one is the central town. Everything is circulating from Nairobi going to the other places. Haitakuwa mandazi maybe, but then there must be something that I can speed up na kitu flow. But then before nikuje, back then wakati nilikuwa nauza kala, kuna groups zenye nilikuwa nazo za WhatsApp. So at one point, I don't know how I happened to have a client calling me from West Africa. Sijui alipata, I think from Facebook, juu hizo links nilikuwa na post Facebook. So nikapata a client from West Africa na nuliza kama naweza mdeliveria their kala I had. So I sat down, there is an opportunity here. It's 1 year, but then how can I sell that item to that person? And then something hit me. Kama naweza join Jumia, the new item ingemfikia. That is one of the information I collected. In that, I knew, or rather the information I had is that Jumia is not in Kenya alone. It's something that maybe is running Africa as a whole. So nikajiambia, kama ningekuwa Jumia, hiyo kiatu ingefikia ule jamaa, hiyo don ningejiingizia. So wakati nilienda home, after testing 1, 2, 3 things is not working, wakati nilikuwa planning now, looking away now to come to Nairobi, which is maybe the capital of Kenya. So there must be how things can flow faster. Nikasema, let me test this Jumia thing. So nikaingia kwa YouTube, nikaingia kupiga ma research zangu, how to join Jumia and all that, is it something scalable and all that. Nikaangukia form. So nikajaza the form, the email, whatever things were required. By then, sina license, but then I want to sell. And there is a platform here. So all those things we'll figure them out baadaye. So nile, nikaget in, nikajaza form, and then it happened, wakanipigia simu. After the account imefunguliwa, wakanipigia simu kuniuliza, uko wapi? One of the requirements for you to sell on Jumia by then ilikuwa lazima uko within Nairobi. So when they asked uko wapi, already nilikuwa najibu niko home, because I knew the moment wameuliza niko wapi, it means to a degree they know. And with the knowledge of GIS, I knew email yangu ilikuwa ishauza the location ya device yangu. So I couldn't tell them niko Nairobi. But then what I told them is niko home, but then for a holiday, a week or two nitakuja Nairobi. Na sasa hiyo sijui naenda Nairobi, naenda kwa nani, naenda kufanya nini. But then I needed to have that said.
You needed to secure that.
To secure that opportunity, because already shajileta account imefunguliwa ni nini. But then when they called, the other question ilikuwa, are you within Nairobi? Because our business, for you to operate, you need to be within Nairobi. So nikasema, niko home, yes. I knew they were tracking with the email. So the device,
I knew that.
I knew that. Okay. But then I cannot accept that niko home na nimetulia huku, or rather give you the problem so that you give me the solution. I knew, wow, their problem was they needed a vendor. Yes. And my problem was I needed to sell on their platform. Yes. So telling them a problem of niko home na sina nyumba Nairobi was going to be a failure on my side.
Yes.
Them, they need me to be in Nairobi. So the problem for me is I need to be in Nairobi. I need to get myself into Nairobi. So telling them that siko Nairobi, I'm at home, was going to be a failure on my side. Ilikuwa like kujipiga ngumi mwenyewe. So nikamwambia mimi, I'm home, yes, but I'm home for a holiday. After 1 or 2 weeks, nitakuwa narudi Nairobi. And then it happened, sikuwa najua that this was going to downplay me to a degree, because nika relax nikingoja nipate order ya kwanza. But it never happened. Ilika for almost a month, because I knew, I was like, let me wait and see the possibility of this thing working before I'm leaving this place that I am in. But then kaka whole month things didn't work. Lakini nikajiambia, this position that I'm in, is it promising what I need from life? The other one, I don't know what I'm engaging in, but then I think I should just jump onto it. I'll learn through the sail. I'll learn once I'm inside the ocean and adjust through the sail. So nikatoka home, nikakuja Nairobi. And then the second day of coming into Nairobi, nikapata the first order.
The second day?
The second day, nimeingia leo, kesho kutwa, order ya kwanza ya Jumia ikaingia. Na hiyo imepata kama the registration process iliisha 1 month ago. So nikajua the problem was nilikuwa home. Or rather my device.
Location.
Yes. Or rather my device ilikuwa home. Mimi naweza kuwa home lakini device iko Nairobi. But then the thing was nilikuwa home as a vendor, nilikuwa home. So now that niliingia hapa the second day order ya kwanza ikaingia. Nika deliver. I think ilikuwa their colors. So hapo mali talking of it had failed. It was now time to come again to play with it. So if you engage in a business and then you consider it a fail, it's something that you did wrong. So me I just went back to my Akala, nikapiga mapicha zangu kadhaa, nika-upload kwa system yao. And then after that, order ya kwanza ikaingia. And then after that, ikawa vitu zina flow. So also, the Jumia thing, one thing that I considered before engaging on it ilikuwa my personality, approaching of clients. In that ukienda, the way you communicate, the vibe, the frustrations, the trauma. With Jumia, you just type. When you relax, no one will know the mood you are in. But then you can fake it for the moment of typing, you kitu with the right thing for the client when coming in to read. So Jumia kind of came to solve that problem of how do I communicate with the clients one-on-one. So hii ni kitu yenye nitakaa chini wakati hata nimerelax, you can lock off the life you're having and then concentrate on typing a thing or two, but then with the right thing that the client akisoma atafeel vizuri nayo. So that one played a bigger role. So nikajikuta niko Jumia.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Na this issue ya unatoka na Ocha unakam Nairobi to the blind, do you solve that first? Is this what you're solving for the month ama wewe ulikuja tu as long as umeland Nairobi?
Nilitoka home wakati nilikuwa nauza mandazi zangu, chapo zangu, pia nilikuwa nafanya tuition. So nimekuwa local school and it went well. So that one also was something I could use to get money. So nika approach few parents, nikaambia I have this, I can teach them this, I can teach them this. And also wakati nilimaliza form 4, because it was a day school, walini accommodate kufunza the students nilikuwa nasoma nao. So that part of they know you as a teacher, haujamesi huko, umefunza vizuri. It was easier to negotiate with the parents na kupata something from the tuition. So wakati nilikuwa nakuja Nairobi nilikuwa na like 40K. Yeah. So hii nikasema hii for the next 2-3 months, hii ndio backup plan yangu. Ikiisha kama sijafigure way out, I'll find my way back home. But then there was 40K. Until this point, what is your relationship with money? You understand? Because I believe in age tunacheza uko under 21 for the most part. Uko very well under 21. Yeah.
Like, what separates you? Okay, of course najua umaskini inakimbizanga mtu mbio kutafuta kujua saving na nini.
Exactly.
But how do you balance kutojua sherehe, like there is something bigger you're chasing, like kupona? How are you a parent at under 21?
The issue was, I have a problem at hand, and not everyone has the problem I'm having, and I'm the only one to solve it. So if I depend on the decision other people are using to solve this problem, I'll not be able to solve it. So look at your problem and look at a way of solving it, regardless of whatever you are seeing the other side of the screen. Hiyo ni yao. That's their life. That's where life imewaweka. So ukienda in that direction and you're having problem A na wale wako na problem C and you want to engage with them, ukimaliza kusolve your problem C utarudi kwa yako A ikikuangalia hivi kwa macho. So it was a matter of, this is my problem, I have to figure out a way to solve it, and this is the solution, business hustle, so me I'll solve it. So this other part haikuwa exist kwa my frame of reasoning.
Na hiyo time bado hawaja discover Aviator.
Aviator wasn't there, but then SportPesa was there. SportPesa, Betika zilikuwa hapo. And to a degree, kuna some rough history about that also. I tried engaging into it, but then before I did exam, I engaged in SportPesa. By then, ilikuwa SportPesa alone, Betika, and hizo zingine zilikuwa zimekuja. But then, with my aggressiveness in whatever I do, Nilijaribu the SportPesa nonsense and then I found myself hii kitu si yangu. In that unaifanya mwingine ana make kusucceed but then wewe every day you're failing.
Did you invest the 40k into the nonsense ama
No,
wakati learn before?
Nilikuwa nimelearn before. Nilikuwa nimelearn before. So it was not something that I'll go to and do it now with the SportPesa.
Okay,
SportPesa ilikuwa way back. I think the high school days. The high school days before nimalizane na high school. I think by then I was doing that as a way of getting pocket money. What are the survival money? But then it failed vizuri. And I accepted that.
Okay.
So wakati nilikuwa na the 40k already the experience ya doing gambling ilikuwa that is a no.
Okay.
It's not my field.
Okay.
For some people labda wana win the way wanasema hizo vitu za jackpot maybe. Wengine nilikuwa naona napata akona message but then mimi nilisema hii si yangu. Hii si mahali God anataka nikwe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because all three ilikuwa failure. So that one wakati nilikuwa nakuja the gambling thing was a no from my end.
Okay.
Yes.
Kuna one of the finest rappers in Kenya alikuwa kwa school ya kina Octopizo ya YGB. Yes. Anakuanga na line fulani ya nimekuja Nairobi City maze kutafuta capital. Anakuanga lyricist mnoma sana. So wewe ulikuja Nairobi City ukiwa na capital yako ya 40k and unajua hii 40,000 it is my way into the city or I find my way back home.
Yeah.
How does 40k help you navigate your way? Like how do you buy your way into the city na 40k?
Okay, nilikuja. One thing, I knew this 40k if I happen to mess it around na surina rent, landlord atakuhurumia. Itaenda vizuri sana. So you have to find a way, a place where the cost of rent iko low. And also you need to access the city. You need to access CBD. So the fare also to CBD lazima ikuwe close to zero. And then also you need food. And now that you need food, the major thing itabidi utainama by force, whether you want it or not. So those three things were the major thing I knew I'm going to fight. Rent, fare, food. Three things.
Yes.
So solving story na rent ilikuwa I need to go to the cheapest place possible. Nikajikuta Mlango Kubwa. It's a dangerous place, ilikuwa criminal zone, but then I'm a man. Not that I'll be a criminal, but then if you happen to face me, it's two things, you kill me or you go. So with that mindset ilikuwa, iki happen kukuja ni sawa. At least I knew nilikuwa na the mindset to deal with it.
Hiyo party yenu ya CI inajulikana na hiyo kichwa ngumu. But that's a story for another day.
And I accept. Yes.
So Mlango Kubwa?
So nikaingia Mlango Kubwa. Iko na a lot of history with the criminals and all that, but then I accepted myself. I told myself that is something I can kind of solve at the moment. It's not something I need. Like it's not a problem I should be considering.
You're worried about.
Yeah, I'm worried about it, but then it should not be the major thing contributed to the decision. So nikaingia huko, and whatever thing they could steal from me, labda ni simu yangu. That was my net worth back by then. Nyumba ukiingia kitu utapata huko ni mattress pale kwa kona na stool na meza. So I don't think that one is a major thing. Labda simu yangu. Na simu yangu ndio ofisi yangu because hiyo ndio inani connect na Jumia. So nikiwa huko simu haikuwa hiyo najua. Naitoa kwa mfuko nikiingia kwa nyumba.
Yeah.
The moment natoka kwa nyumba yenye natoka hivi ni kuingiza kwa mfuko. Kama hakuna mfuko itatafutwa.
Okay.
But then haikuwa hiyo najua because ile ni place yenye hata saa 5 utapigwa ngeta.
Na uko na grace period ya 40,000.
Yes. You're having a limited period, you're having a limited amount of 40k, and you know you're going to eat, you know you're going to get to town, and you know you're going to pay rent. Majorly ilikuwa hizo vitu mbili, hizo vitu tatu. Maybe na small amount ya kulipa rent. But then majorly ilikuwa hizo vitu tatu. So I have to minimize as much as possible the expenditure for this so that ni extend that period. Okay. So nyumba pale nilipata nyumba ya 4k. Mlango. And then distance ya kutembea from Mlango to CBD, ukipanda gari ni 30 bob. But then ni mahali naweza tembea. Si nilikuwa Ocha. So kutoka Ocha most of the time shughuli mingi ni za kutembea. So this is something I knew nimesolve that problem of kufika CBD. So close to 100% of my duration being there ilikuwa kutembea. Natoka tu nikikaa a local boy wa mtaa. Lakini najua naenda hustle. So nitatoka nimevaa simpo yangu, nimevaa vitu zangu zinakaa chwara naingia kwa barabara nikaa naenda kununua mandazi hivyo nimeingia Juja Road. Hivyo nateremka naingia pale roundabout ya Pangani, nateremka nishafika Karioko.
Okay.
Yes. So that problem ya fare ilikuwa solved, and then rent now that nalipa 4k ilikuwa 4+4 ya deposit hiyo ni 8k. And now that it's a ghetto, they know everyone is struggling. So you can negotiate with the caretaker or the landlord, mwambie mara hii sijapata but then nakutafutia. But then I didn't wait to reach that level, but then I knew kwa vile the surrounding ni ama survivors, it will be easier to survive kushinda nimeenda hapo place that people expect you to always have that money at the end of the month ikiwa umejipanga. So hapa nilijua with the 40k, now that nime reduce fare, nime reduce food na nime reduce rent, hii kitu inaweza nisongesha for a given period of time. The rest of it labda kitu 20 or 30k wakati nilikuwa na settle can circulate in the business. But then how do I circulate this 30k without losing it? Because ikienda itakuwa imeenda. So I have to know, yes, ukuna 30k to engage in the business, labda the 20 mekusaidia kusettle in, juu lazima ununue mattress nini, so mekusaidia kusettle in. So mebaki na, not 30, 20 in fact. Mebaki na 20 out of the 40k. So how does this 20k circulate as fast as possible to be able to join this 20k wakati 20k itakuwa inaisha, and also to sustain the business. Unapata? So ni ile, unakaa chini unasema, but then ilikuwa ya Akala, because Akala nitachukua na this amount and then ni upload system ya Jumia nipate commission yangu na nisonge. So I have to look away yenye ita circulate haraka. So bei itabidi nime drop compared na the other sellers wa Akala. So nikaingia huko, bei nika drop kidogo tu, not so much, but then kidogo competitive to allow the product to fight well in the algorithm. Juu sasa hapo fight ya Jumia is not about your marketing, it's more about the algorithm.
Yes.
In that the lowest price will be picked by the algorithm to appear when a client comes na search for Akala or maybe Masai sandal. So that one is something maybe on my end I knew that the other sellers hawakujua, but then that contributed. Sijui kama Jumia pia walijua that I had that information.
You need to understand your competition.
You need
and the platform you are competing on.
Yeah, the platform you are in and the people you are competing with and your clients. Those three things. So the platform ilikuwa Jumia. They didn't teach us all that in terms of pricing nini.
Because that your Masai sandal is very specific in terms of what someone will be looking for.
Exactly.
Okay.
So nile unaisema, apart from the price, there is something else that is contributing to the algorithm. So mimi mwenyewe nilikaa chini nikaanza kustudy the system without going to question system ya Jumia. Without going to question them that how does this work? Because anywhere you enter and you start questioning things, they'll know there is something. So nikakaa chini nikasema, if ningekuwa the manager of Jumia, those questions lazima zinakujanga. What would I consider to make in terms of the algorithm of this system? So that at the end of the day, when a client comes to such a product, they get the best product at the best price. And also, if I could have been the client coming to platform ya Jumia, ni nini ningetype pale kwa search bar? So all that, wakati niko na those two information, hizi ndio vitu nakuja naeka kwa description ya product yangu. So I've considered the owner of the platform, I've considered the client. These two things mi nika hapa katikati, nimezicombine nikaleta hapa katikati. The other sellers, I'm very much sure whatever they are doing is just to say, maybe leather product, rubber sole, maybe the physical features of the product. But then mi nimekuja na akili ya, I need to know what the client wants, and I need to know how the developer of this platform was thinking before they made this thing to work. So once that is in the mind, your information ndio nitakuja ni plug in here. So that battle ikawa more easier to fight than selling physically. Juhi now, it's a fight with the algorithm, it's a fight with the machines. And once you know how to play around with the machines, you're good to go. Yeah. So it played well in terms of pricing, nikaloa kidogo to all through ile kuanga naangalia competitor anauza at what price, competitor ule mwingine anauza at what price, and what is it that they are selling, what is it that I can add into this thing that they don't know where to source from. Sasa kitu kama free gift utapata nimeweka hapo Akala lakini napeana na free socks. I'm very sure competitor wangu anajua tu mahali penye atatoa Akala. But then wakati nimekuja nikasema pale kuna tag hapo imeandikwa free gift na niweke socks hapo chini, wakati client atakuja, price iko best, description iko best in terms of algorithm, and then also kuna that ka free item which business wise it's not free. Kuna mahesabu zako lazima umepiga, but then I'm very sure my competitor does not know the source of these socks. So wakati nimeweka hiyo, ule nitakuwa nimempiga vita mzuri, the algorithm system nimepiga vita mzuri, client pia nime kind of get into the emotions vizuri, in that there is a tagging point here, free gift here. Yes, and also the description hapa ina meet the problem at hand. Get this item with a nice rubber sole. I'll not talk about even the rubber sole, with a sole that will not make noise when you are walking on the tiles at your home. So with that, hit the emotion.
Umeanza kulearn language of selling.
Language of selling, yes. And then doing it in such a way that you type it once and you leave it there. But then it will always be there to fight and help you fight through the algorithm. Unapata si lazima anytime you approach now the other time ilikuwa lazima approach someone, you'll have to repeat yourself. But then the problem with me ilikuwa once I've learned something, repeating it, I need to add something new because I need to be learning. So hii platform ingine ikawa easier to deal with because I'll come type it once, leave it at that. Go look for something new. Come type it, leave it at that. Go look at something new. So that one ikawa easy, and then the moment tumeweka kwa the platform itabaki iko hapo. Unapata? So si lazima huku ushinde unairudia. So it can solve a lot of things. So adjusting into the system ya Jumia ikawa easier. And then after a while, because niliamua ku study the whole thing, nikaamua kuregister brand yangu na Jumia. So Felix Fashion ikawa registered kwa system yao. So with that it means when someone is searching for my items, for the Masai sandals, if they happen to buy the item, na back then nilikuwa naeka sticker. Nikishanunua kala the Masai sandals from someone, nakuja naeka sticker ya Felix Fashion. So inakawa branded, this one is from Felix Fashion. And then kwa system kuna Felix Fashion iko registered kwa system. So this person, I'm kinda positive that I'm trying to build a family. The moment the item itakuwa delivered, next time atakuja kusearch Masai sandals, but Felix Fashion lazima itapia mahali. Because of the tag alipata kwa the sandal.
Yes.
So the other market, the other sellers, wao watarelax with, aenda chukue product, upload kwa system, auze. So napata mimi on my part, I'm building some sets of weapons to fight the algorithm and also to gain the trust of the client and also to build a base. The issue was, what I was thinking ilikuwa, what if ifike point Jumia iende? How will I continue? The client sina details zao. But then it's guaranteed, the control I have over this thing is zero. The only time I have is now. So I have to know or look away in which I'm building sort of a family. Baadaye Felix Fashion ikuje irise, kuna mtu atakuwa ameinteract na product yangu but through Jumia. So Jumia itakuwa imejiondoa kwa hesabu. And funny enough, that is what to a degree, that is what has happened.
Yes.
A lot of clients later on walikuwa wanakuja wananipigia baadaye. In that unapata niko Facebook, niko Instagram, so ataenda search Felix Fashion, apate namba yangu anipigie. Naambia, hii product yako nimeona kwa system ya Jumia, can I get it faster because Jumia will take 4 days, 5 days to deliver. Can you get it to me today? Naambia, yes, niko na hapa, uko wapi? Niko hii place. Okay, kama uko outside Nairobi, nitakutumia kama mzigo. It will take 2 days. Other than the other system yenye ita take 5 days. So ikawa kuna a family I'm building in terms of the business, in terms of Felix Fashion. Yeah, so ikawa.
So now when you immerse yourself into this, like the capital yenye ulianza nayo na 20k, did it get you to a place where you stop worrying about kulipa rent, about food? Do you start scaling from there? Do you start feeling the fruits from hapo?
Yeah, haikuwa a big deal, haikuni disappoint because I think nilikuja na a lot of lessons. So nile yenye ukiona kuna dalili ya kuanguka, you think of what to adjust as fast as possible and move. So I think the experiences I had previously, the failures, those that didn't work, I was able to kind of look at the whole scope na ni predict niseme hapa, nikiendelea na this move, kuna shida. So one of the solution ikawa hiyo kumbeka labda free gift, nisingedhi to what now that I've uploaded the item, I'm waiting for a sale. It's okay, Jumia amenipea platform, it's okay, I've uploaded my system, but then what else can I add into this? And then how fast can I speed this thing? So that ikwe, nisitulie tu. And I think I gave it a lot. So not a lot in terms of the returns zilikuwa good and the disappointments weren't there. Ilifika mahali Jumia nilikuwa naenda na viatu gunia 3 per day. So at the end of the week unapata sales zimegonga 80k per week.
Ile 80k ulikuwa ungoje 4 years usome, upate in a month.
In a week. The sales are at 80k, but then profit unapata labda ni kitu 20k in a week. So 20 times 4 ni 80.
So effort yako ilikuwa inaanza ku make sense.
Inaanza ku make sense. And the other fact is, sija spend 4 years to get this 80. That was something else I was considering. The 4 years ningespend kwa shule to pata the same amount, sija spend this other side.
Na pesa ikuongeleshi uanze kutoka mlango, where is the, hapa ndio una make decision ya auta cross Thika Road uende JKUAT tena?
No. It was a matter of, I have to finish this thing. In that, it took me time. I sacrificed my time to study for this thing. So time nilikuwa mlango ilikuwa I want that money to fulfill this thing. So ni venye nilifanya hiyo time ya corona bado watu hawakuwa shule. So I gave it my all energy and the returns zikakuja. So haikuwa that amount is what made me to decide no, I want to get out of this. Ilifika level nikaona the business is working, but then there is this question of why did I start this thing so that niache katikati? That will be to a degree stupidity. So ilikuwa matter of I have to finish it, not for salary now, but I need to finish it because it's one of the things that I started and still there is an opportunity of making through it.
Okay.
Yeah, so ikawa now I'm doing this thing to finish, and not to finish just for the sake of nimevaa gown, but to finish with sort of satisfaction that at the end of the day nime give my all.
Yes.
So haikuwa at that point. The money was there, but then ya biashara, because now Felix Fashion was kind of popping up, and I feel this one is now a purpose that I can rock in and flow with. But then
at that point hauna hiyo knowledge ya biashara pase, because I don't know, labda mimi nimejimask kwa world ya ku understand from a formal perspective design najiambia certain lessons you get under certain circumstances. Of course experience is the best teacher, right? Wewe ni mse wa geospatial information science, right? So now hii story ya profit and loss, unajua pesa ya biz ni ya biz, unajua profit, unajua kubalance, unajua cost managing. Hizi vitu zinakaanga rahisi, but it's also a form of rocket science.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? So this is also a world by itself. People go to school to learn that. You understand? Wewe unaisoma kwa kiwanja and you build a system on it.
Yeah. So the thing was, my major thing ilikuwa, I have 100 bob, I get 20 nakuwa kept aside, nabaki na 100 yangu. Because that 20 I got it from someone else, haikuwa yangu.
Aye.
Exactly. The only thing I used was the product, which was not me. The product I gave to the other person, I invested 100, akanipea 20 juu. But then this money wasn't mine, so I'll keep it aside. To accumulate it, ikuwe another 100, nikuwe na 200 now. So I've added
Normal.
Yeah, so I've added kinda niko na 2 weapons now at a go. So this 200, wakati itakuja now na 2020, itakuwa 40. So itakuwa increase that speed of getting another 100 to make them 3. So wakati imekuwa 3, now I'll be getting 60. So hii 60, itakuja now, the duration at which I'm getting the 100 that I need is now reduced to more than a half. So I'll not have to use the same energy 4 times. I'll use it now maybe twice, but then I have to scale this thing iende mbio. Unapanda? So that kama ile time ingine nilikuwa natumia 100 to get 20 per day, now that I'm having 600 to get 20 times 60 is 120, I can now get another weapon per day. So hii kitu inashindanga inapanda. So mimi ile 100 yangu 20 itabaki kwa hapo. Hizi zingine ikishinda accumulate. And then something else, money is not yours. It's just a tool like any other. Or rather me, that's how I viewed it. Ni kama tu nguo. Ni kama tu the cloth nimevaa. So I'll not look at it it's mine. Me, I'll remain to be Felix. The money will remain to be the money.
So Jiona Ndeve, like hizi ni just costumes
to flow through life. Even the body to a degree is an accumulation of the food you have been having since you're born. It's not you. So it's just part of the thing you need to fight the fights we have in the world. But then getting attached to it, this is me. Itafika a point the body will need to go. And you'll have to accept.
Uko na freedom mindset extreme yani. Uko na freedom mindset extreme. Alafu understanding yako ya okay. It's deep actually. Like hata your relationship with money is very interesting. So now mimi nakuanga very particular like about vitu zenye naangalia, you understand? Very nice explanation ya how you move kwa busy akala and stuff and how the opportunity even creates itself. Mimi nakuanga very particular and I stop at your video on TikTok because I see a shoe I can wear. And I know myself. Hata place nimekuwa na buy viatu for so long. Dem alikuwa anauza huko, alikuwa anajuanga. Nikiingia nilikuwa nimebuy huko viatu for 6 years. So alikuwa mzee akinisuggest kiatu, hata yeye alikuwa anajua hiyo siwezi vaa. Alikuwa ananiambia mtu hiyo hawezi vaa because I know myself. So I see a shoe I can wear. Alafu it's interesting that it's locally made.
Exactly.
So kwangu najiambia, wow, this is a bold move. Alafu kwa hiyo workshop yako vile mmeitengeneza kwa video zako za TikTok, Felix Fashions, zinakuwa like it has been made.
Exactly.
You understand? Najiuliza, hii ni confidence gani watu wako nayo ya kuamua ati mnataka watu wanavaa manini, calligraph anazitanga makasuku. Octopus ndio anazitanga makasuku. Hizo sneakers zenye wase wanabuy ati majuu ni 40k but unazipata na 3500. So wewe unajiamini, mnaingia mnataka kutengenezea watu kiatu huku. Kuna watu wana import. Kuna mtu anajua anaweza pata hii kiatu na sultano. Where is this confidence coming from? Na imetengenezwa poa, I have to add that. Yes.
Thank you for that.
Karibu.
And that's a good question. I don't think it was a matter of confidence. It was a matter of, majorly most of the things that I do is a matter of, I have this information. This is what I have at hand. And this is what I can use to fight. So hata kama ni kidole moja, kama hiyo ndio nitatumia ni kupoke hivi and you're an elephant, me I'll use it. With the belief of, I'll make it strong as it goes. So I don't think I considered whoever are importing, whoever having the Gikomba thing and all that, because that's them and this is me. There is a reason why nature has brought this information to me all through. And kinda my spirit or my soul imeenda ikawa at ease kuiaccept into me. There are struggles behind it before ifike mahali now you are able to see it. Lazima ziko. But then I was telling myself that if I happen to go through this, na ni win, then it will be easier for me to fight it because not everyone will be able to win the fight I have won. So there are struggles behind the scenes. Big ones to a degree, but then ile unajiambia, if I happen to go through this, the opportunities were za Gikomba. Gikomba was just a walking distance from Lango. Story na the importation, the place where the depot, where majorly most shoes are taken, by then I had that information. And then also where they are being made, the shoes now is zenye sasa at the moment tuko nazo, I had the information. And unapata, the other two ya Gikomba and the other one, the imported one. Ni kitu, it's not taking your mind in that ukona kiatu, kuna client ako hapa, na amesema anaitaka, nikuje niichukue, nimpatie. Haina hustle mob. But then the money itakuja rahisi. So me, when I decided to engage into the industry, one thing I knew is that when I go through this, and if I win, then it will be easier to flow. Because not everyone will be able to fight and win. So that was the thing. See, now that it's hard, I give up and go through the easier path. The story ya do ilikuwa sasa haiko hapa. Bora nimepata do ya kujisustain, mini flow. But then let me fight this battle. However hard it is, I'm very sure if I happen to go through it vizuri, regardless of the position, because at the end of the day, whoever are doing it, better are doing it. I'm not better yet, but then they're doing it. And they're human beings like me. Maybe the information they have is what I don't have. So let me get that information. I don't have the capability of having the machines, but then I can brand myself like butter. And from branding now, I'll be able to produce 3 pairs. Wow, I can produce 3,000 pairs, me I'll do my 3. And make a lot of noise about those 3 na ziende. And then scale it up, just like I did with my 20 shillings.
20,000.
It's a matter of scaling it up. So with the little information that I have, how can this thing go?
Okay.
So it's a matter of what is the competition saying? What if the competition didn't exist? What if all of us were supposed to be manufacturers? What if it wasn't there? And what if they were a better one than whatever we are having at hand? Because the thing is, whatever is existing, it's because of the limited information you have had until this moment. So considering them is kind of biased because that is what you are having. That is what you are interacting with. So most of the time, I used to close the door of even those things existing. Meaning concentrate with what I have at hand. Now that I know these ones are existing, if I happen to win this, na ni combine na hizi, I'm at a better position compared to hawa watu wengine. Naona?
Yes.
So I just took my time to fight this well. Hizi mbili nilikuwa nishajua story na the Gikomba shoes, I knew they were there. And story na hizi, the imported one and where to source them, I knew they were there until now. But then ilikuwa moment of, if I happen to win this, na ni add into this, I'll be at a better position compared to these people. And I'll have a better experience compared to these people. So with that, I'll be able to win better compared to these two. But then it's there. Instead of following the easy path to a degree, because easy path is always flocked with the masses. So it will be hard to succeed in it.
Okay.
So if you go the hard way and you happen to succeed, chances are so high you'll be alone, or maybe 2 or maybe 3. Yes, so that's why me niliventure hapo. Sijui kama ni confidence, but then nilikuwa tu mindset of if I happen to secure this na ingekuwa system yangu, I'll be able to easily maneuver around compared to the other person mwenye alikuwa in this other field that is more easier. But then the more easier it is, the more flocked it is. But if I happen to succeed on this, well and good.
Nimekaa na watu wengi sana, but sitting across you naweza kuambia I would not be shocked kuona jina yako in places yenye wase look up to in future because to put it plainly uko na billionaire mindset. And then now
Yes.
mlinionyesha bag as part of your products.
Yes.
Ya Kioo Ngozi.
Yes.
So when I spoke to you first on phone, you came across as a proper leather expert.
Yeah.
And I believe, I think our team watakuwa na very nice shots za hii bag which can play as this goes.
Yes.
And sasa mimi uliza swali na kienyeji cause misema I'm a very simple minded man. So nikiona mnatengeneza kitu na ngozi from scratch kama hii, alafu unasema warranty yake ya like a particular bag like this one, you're selling something yenye mtu anaweza keep for 30-40 years.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So wacha nikuje na selfish interest.
Yes.
As a simple minded man. Nikitaka sneaker.
Yes.
Mbuzi moja inanitolea pea ngapi? Sasa nataka kuunderstand leather. Vile ulikuwa na explain.
Yeah.
Nini? Kuna boys wetu anaitwa Saimo probably anasafa sana juu anavaa viatu zinaitwa Gordons na
instead of Jordan
bas na Mike.
Okay.
So now kama mnaweza tengeneza vitu hivi locally, like nikitaka kumsponsor na one because you design a shoe from scratch, right? Mbuzi moja inatoa pea ngapi ya sneaker kwanza? Ama take us through the process ya what leather is in short.
In terms of leather and the question you're having, it's not a matter of 1 + 1 should give me 2. It should, but then it won't. It's not a must. Because this thing is going through a lot of process before ifike kwa that 2. It's not just 1 + 1, 2. So unaweza kuwa na mbuzi, unaweza kuwa na ngozi, but then during the ternary process, the whole mbuzi na the whole ngozi go into waste. Urudi uko 0.
So unaweza waletea mbuzi alafu benefit yangu iko tu ni nyama peke yake.
Nyama ndio ilikuwa iko yako. Yes. Nyama ndio ilikuwa iko yako. Mbuzi ulileta mbuzi. Tukakupea nyama so tukabaki na ngozi. But then it's not guaranteed that you'll have the ngozi back.
So when it comes to leather, tena muoperate kama fundi wa nguo.
No. Because hata fundi wa nguo can make a mistake. Akikata vibaya it's gone.
Okay.
Inaweza tengeneza something else yenye si nguo. And when it makes something else yenye si nguo, it's gone.
Then basi that takes us to a very simple question.
Yeah.
You started as a trader, you are now a manufacturer. What's the cost of doing business as a manufacturer in Kenya?
Okay. To a degree, it's the specifics, I can say, doesn't kinda.
It's not on paper.
Yeah.
It's not white and black.
It's not white and black. It's not 1 + 1 is 2.
Okay.
But then I can say, depending with the effort you are able to do, the effort you are able to give, the more effort you give, the more results you'll give. But then if you want it to succeed, personally I do say that anything that I do, I'm giving it my all. So if it happens to, nakuanga na ile mindset of, if I face something, it's either killing me or I'm killing it. If it happens not to kill me, it means I'll have killed it. Only that. So when you have that mindset, it's everything in. It will take emotions, it will take your friends, it will take your relatives, it will take your time, close to everything. If you want it to succeed, from my end, I'll give it my all.
And you know the statement umesema, when you're facing something, you're either killing it or it kills you. You know how ironical it is that this was once a cow.
Exactly. Exactly. But then I didn't kill it. I waited for the leather after ternary. I can now engage the leather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now ukishasema, so cost of doing business sasa this is a different ball game. Ukisema si ati mbuzi itanitolea pea 2 ya kiatu. You understand? Ati sio hiyo kabisa. So when you factor in costing of a product, because niliona viatu zako, there's a particular video ulikuwa unasema zile za 1700 sasa zimerudi, mnaweza itisha. So kuna kitu hapa na pricing. Si ndio? So na kuna leather, kuna kiatu, and I think when it comes to scaling, I think this has crossed your desk. Kuna kiatu politicians wakivaa wanakutembea kama bata because iko na red bottom. Nimesikia red bottom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So these are different level of shoes. Si ndio? So what determines the price? Because hata kiatu yenye umevaa sasa ni nyinyi mmetengeneza, right?
Exactly.
What determines why I buy a shoe ya leather ninunue 1700 na ingine ninunue 20k, ingine ninunue 40k and it's not even the cow. Neither I can buy the cow and wear sandals.
It's true. What happens, different people engage in business for different reasons.
Okay.
So the situation of someone deciding to price the item at 40k, anaweza kaa chini aseme brand yake ni 30k ama 35k. Just the name and the brand. Okay. 35k and then 5k equal the item. Yes. So that is driving back to the point of different people engage in business for different reasons.
Okay.
Some people go for the money aspect of it. On my end, apart from the money, build a mindset of if I'm aiming for one, I'll not follow one. I'll follow maybe two or maybe a zero, knowing that by circumstances, when finally I get the zero or the two, the one will be like a supplement to it. Like it will be something additional. Even though it's something I'm aiming for, but then I'll not follow that path of going for it. I'll go the other way. So in terms of the shoe and the business, although I want money, but then I'll aim for satisfying the client. And from the entry point when I was entering into the business of leather, the shoes thing, the clientele at hand, ni watu wenye I have to understand them, ni low income clientele. So when you happen to come with a high priced item, chances are so high labda wendo utavaa hiyo kiatu. So I had to understand that. So when coming with that mindset, I have to lower the price that can accommodate close to everyone. And then after that now, after they have known the value, because it was also a point of trying to educate the people. Because this is something kind of a new thing. Butter is there. There are people who are doing it, but then they have not been able to have the courage to market the shoes and all that. There are people who are doing it, but then the artistry is not coming out well, so unapata kiatu iko na mambo yake. So I knew there is a gap of education in that I need to educate these people in terms of this thing are locally made, and this is the price it can go for. So in terms of pricing, I had to consider they have first to accept the product, they have first to give me their ears so that I educate them, and if I happen to price them higher, I was very sure that it's not going to work. Most people are going to ignore it. So that is why I entered with that pricing at 17. Accommodate many people, educate them, and also get the experience from a client's point of view. In that mimi najua it's Ngozi, but then mimi ni mimi. Labda I'm just a greedy person, I'm looking for money. So I defend either way. But then what will the client say about the item? So let me lower it at a affordable price and then get to listen from what they're saying. And then after that, maybe I'll adjust a thing or two. So in terms of pricing, some other people deciding to do it at 200K, at 40K, the brand part of it maybe contributes to it. And then, like I've said, some people engage in business for different reasons. Mine was to serve the clients, and then the money will come in later. But then some watakuja na ile intention of, I need money out of this because I need kujenga gorofa mahali. I need to solve another problem mahali. It's a matter of money. So they'll price it at whatever amount they want. But then me, the money thing ilikuwa ni something coming to contribute into it later. But then I need to educate these people. I need to have them be on my part first, because it's a new field to a degree. And then after that, now maybe you can see once nimeona 17 nimepeana a good value, which was kinda a dropped price, haikuwa the best. But then I had to do it to get to listen to what the clients are saying first. Before now I serve them with something else that is priced better, but then at least I've first solved the problem at hand, which is having a leather shoe, and also the masses having agreed to it. So once the problem is solved, the pricing won't be an issue. And have I solved the problem of they need shoes, the shoes are good for office work, the shoes are good for this? Is my item solving the problem they're having at hand before I price it?
So when you price it better, yes, the same kiatu ya 17 ndio unawapandishia, ama sasa unatoka kwa ng'ombe, so unaambia hii sasa ni ngozi ya fisi. Like what changes in the shoe?
Yeah, one thing, the grade of leather used. When leather is being tanned during the processing part, there are different grades that will come out. kuna grade inaitwa full grain, kuna grade inaitwa top grain, kuna grade inaitwa genuine. And then after genuine is the lowest grade of leather, by the way.
What do you mean, bana?
It's something that people don't know, but then that is the fact. Genuine leather is the lowest grade of leather, but then it's still leather. But then sasa, after genuine leather, kuna now the synthetic leather, the processed leather.
Synthetic leather is higher grade than genuine leather.
No. It's the lowest. It's not even leather. That's why it was synthetic.
Oh, twende pole pole.
Yeah.
Synthetic leather is not even leather.
It's, yeah.
Alafu juu yake ndio sasa kuna genuine leather.
Yes. Okay. And then after genuine, kuna top grain, and then kuna full grain. So full grain ndio grade 1. The processing takes a lot of time, but then it will serve you for a longer period compared to top grain and genuine leather. But then if you're looking for durability, full grain is the best. So when it's being processed, out of the chemicals used for processing it will be more of natural vegetable tanned. Watatumia components from natural plants to use as chemicals per se to do the tanning. But then for top grain and full grain, watatumia more of the sodium chloride and all those chemical things, the chemicals aspect of it to do the tanning.
So in short, top grain ni mtu amevaa nyama.
Top grain?
Ni mtu amevaa nyama. Like, you are so close, you can round off to the nearest meat. Like, it is as organic as possible.
Full grain ndio iko organic. Full grain, yes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, full grain ndio iko organic in that they have tried to maintain the natural leather. They have tried to reduce the chemicals in it and maintain the leather aspect of it from cow as natural as possible. And then preservatives pia zenye zimetumika ni zile natural so that isikuwe na more effect on you in terms of wale wenye wako na reactions za chemicals and all that, yeah. Okay. So unapata it's more of the leather, it's more natural. Yes. Si ati close to nyama lazima itolewe wakati tunataka ngozi. We don't need the nyama tutapeleka butcher. But then tunajaribu ku maintain the whole scope of the leather as much as possible when it left the cow. Or rather when it left the animal that it was taken from.
Okay. This may sound ridiculous, but there's a company that is making, I think, shoes from human skin. And one pair, last I checked, ilikuwa inaenda, according to exchange rate, hiyo time ilikuwa 2 million shillings a pair. In your business mindset, if you got that opportunity, would you venture there? Ukipata a way ya kuturn people, turning people?
No.
Hey.
Reason being, my conscience will fight with me. I'll not be at peace. I'm someone who do judge myself with everything I do. Like I have to be at peace with myself.
No, see, I'm sure there are ethical ways ya kufanya ni. Hey, Buddha, hiki hatu hili kwa chief Buddha. Like,
it's not about ethics. Nile, unajielewa. Some people can murder someone and they'll be good to do it. But then you know when you take that knife, you can't do it. Okay. So you rather stay away from it. So even from the aspect of money, if I happen to accumulate that 2 million because I can turn a dead body, I'll not be at peace with myself, and chances are so high that business is going to fail because I want to be authentic when dealing with it. Yeah, sita engage akili yangu sana. Akili yangu itakuwa busy fighting myself in that the decision I made for this money wasn't the right decision for me. Not even how people will view me. People are out of this because at the end of the day there is a way you can trick them into knowing that everything is okay. But then mimi wakati nimeenda nikakaa chini nikatulia na Felix, Felix akajiita mkutano. Nitajiuliza, is this something that I did? Is it right for me? Not even nikifanyiwa. Juu labda I cannot control kufanyiwa, but then the thing happening, it will bring a lot of chaos with myself that I'll not be able to perform like I need.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Fair. Nimekuuliza hiyo just for there's something I toy with personally about ethics in business, and sometimes I make very radical comments. Kimimi. Right? So two things before we close. Now our producer Wiki make sure number of how to reach Felix Fashions na Kiongozi Leather, one of their, okay, those are your brands, in a run up. So just in case you like what you're seeing, products out, you can reach out independently. We are doing this by the Jew. We love anything that gives the vibe here opportunity. And I told you before we get on set, our guest on this show he's been on our episodes twice, as in he's featured on our show twice. Now he's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met, and sasa wewe pia mindset yako imenibamba. Anaitwa Robert Mwangi. Robert Mwangi alini-challenge na kitu moja. Aliniambia ati Kenya, most of our money flows outside. Like ukienda super, most of the products tunabuy zimeandikwa made in somewhere else. So we are employing people in different countries. So the reason why I'm a fan of this conversation today is this presents the possibility that we can make stuff locally na people can buy from Kenya and quality products, okay? So that said, I've always been worried about kama there's a possibility to do business in this country without exploitation.
Yes.
And number two, there's something tunasemanga, and I'll put you on the spot with this one. And I'm putting you on the spot for purposes, for the simple reason that to explainia how you are able to scale from a capital of 20,000 shillings, right?
Yes.
And our audience ni wase analytical na wanaangalia the mathematics, right?
Yeah.
So now, one of our guests alisema kitu hapa anaitwa Engineer Kimori. So tunaitanga Engineer Kimori Challenge. Alikuja akasema something on the show, akasema ati in this country you cannot make a net profit of 50,000 per month from 2 million shillings.
50,000 from 2 million?
Yes.
You cannot make because of?
A net profit of 2 million shillings. Alikuwa anasema, the business environment. So now you've challenged nimesema on this show before kwa sababu I was inclined to agree with that mathematics because na come from a textbook analysis ya return ya profit because 50,000 per month on 2 million, that's 30% return. 50,000 ni 30% kweli? I think nimekuwa nikifanya hiyo mathematics wrong.
From 2 million?
No, it's actually 30% return per year.
From 2 million?
Yes. Goja. Nimefanya hesabu kienyeji aje. In fact, I've been doing that mathematics wrong.
But then
No, it's 30% return annually.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
30%, it's 30% return in a year. 50 ni 600,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So on 2 million, that is 30%.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Yes.
Return on investment ukiangalia in net, tulijaribu hiyo hesabu ikakataa.
Yeah.
Na biashara ya Airbnb and stuff.
Yeah.
But wewe unasema uliscale from 20,000 shillings.
Yes.
Is this to say that capital inategemea ni biashara gani, the standard, hakuna kitu kama standard return on investment?
Nothing is ever constant. It depends with where you engage yourself. Okay, that is my opinion, not from any book or something, but then I do have a notion whereby nothing is constant. Like I've kind of tried to explain, it depends with the speed at which you want this thing to accumulate itself. You are talking about annually. But then if you decide to engage yourself 24 hours per day on that business, if it's something that is not automated, are you sure that it will remain at 30% annually?
But can you engage yourself? Unajua you're human pia.
Yes, you're human, yes. But then if you put yourself at a position whereby, like I told you, it's either killing me or I'm killing it. So if it fails, you put yourself at a target of maybe, say 50%. And you say, if I happen not to meet 50%, then it will have killed me. I'll not die the physical death, but then because I didn't attain whatever I was aiming for, so from my own theory and how I've been doing things, it will kill me. And then something else, if you happen to be onto one business and you focus onto that without exploring the other parts, then you're also it's called diversification. You don't need, from my part, if I have karibu niseme 1 million lakini haiko. But then if I happen to have such an amount in account, it's from business A, maybe shoes, ndio. Why is it lying in the account yet it can do something else? Like in Ezavuta, I do consider them as armies. So
But that's the problem with that is kuna watu wanakuja na argument ya diversification is a lie because you will be investing in something you don't know. Unajua say you understand shoes inside out because it is something you've invested time in.
Yes.
You understand it inside out.
Yes.
So unless you say you're branching out to real estate because it's a lazy form of business, okay? Na utapata hiyo pia iko na challenges zake because people give textbook returns.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So hii kitu ya investing in another business, most people fail hapo kwa diversification unless you're doing business as survival. Because there's also the element, and in fact it ties to something you said.
Yes.
Like kama kwa biashara yako, ati you can't go ati be the boss. Utaban. What does that mean kwanza?
When you go as the boss, the people will view you as the boss and they will not be natural when dealing with you.
So now, unapata, we've heard people say on this show, kitu inaangusha biashara mob sana ni employability of other people. Like where if you start a business iko Eldoret, ati una run ingine Nairobi, chances are you'll burn there.
It's true.
You understand?
It's true.
So hii kitu ya diversification to the most part, it atuja confirm,
yes,
we have not verified.
When I'm saying diversification, it doesn't mean you jump from A to Z, go to B. I'm selling shoes, include clothes. When the client is coming for the shoe, nitamwambia niko na trouser hapa, niko na suit hapa.
Related.
Yeah, they're related. They're sort of complementing each other. Suit ikikubali, leta t-shirts. T-shirts ikikubali, leta jeans. So instead of kutulia na kiatu, ukingoja kila mtu akuje achukue kiatu, atakuja achukue kiatu na kuachia do ya t-shirts. Atakuja achukue kiatu akuachie t-shirts na jeans. The next time ataenda aseme huko nje, mwenye atakuja next atakuja for shoes only. Atakuja for shoes, socks, belts. If you look at my accounts, niko na belts, wallets, bags, close to all these things za fashion, ziko pamoja. So when I talk about diversification, it doesn't mean jump from 1 to 1 million. Go to 2, include 3, include 4. So this 1 is growing as 2 is also catching up. And then 2 is catching up as 3 is coming up. So just in case 3 happen to kind of pull you down, 1 will be at a position to pull the 3 up. Unapata?
Okay.
Sasa venye umesema getting out of fashion to get into real estate, that will be a no for me on my side.
Okay. Sawa. Well put.
Yes.
Is it possible to do business in Kenya without exploitation?
What defines exploitation?
Kugonga mtu proper. Because one of our favorite peoples pia kwa hii show anaitwa Ed Thiongo alisemanga kitu ya business is exploiting the gap between what I know and what you don't know.
It's not exploitation, it's lack of information. The reason why you're having me here is because you know something I don't know. It's not exploitation.
It is you who knows something I don't know.
No, it's your show. But then if I could have called you somewhere, you know about setting up cameras, you know about setting up lights, or rather you have the people who can set that. So it's not exploiting me. It's just lack of information from my end, or rather my interest is not in it. So it's not exploitation from my end. I think what people consider as exploiting, it's circumstantial, but then it's not defined in a flat way. And then when you say it's exploitation, why is it that you're lacking that information that you needed to know what I know? It's a failure on your side to not have the information that I already know, and that is why I'm selling the commodity to you. The reason why I'm selling shoes is because I know how to make one. Otherwise, if my clients would have known how to make one, I will not be able to sell it. And it's not exploitation. It's lack of information to a degree. And it's not bad. That is why our teachers are teaching us, because they're having information I don't have, and I'll have to pay school fee for that. It's not exploiting me. Maybe if they decide to overprice it, but what determines overpricing? Maybe the value they're giving you is...
What's the difference between overpricing and exploitation?
It's something that people define. On my end, it doesn't exist, or rather, it's not something I kind of focus on, because it's looked at from a negative point of view. But then there are always two sides of the coin. Maybe you're focusing too much on the dark side, which people consider exploitation, and maybe overpricing, instead of focusing on the light side. No.
If I convince you to buy this glass at 10,000, and I've bought it for 300 shillings, have I exploited you?
You have not exploited me. I had 10,000, you needed 10,000, and you have given me a glass. As long as the glass is solving my problem, and I'm okay removing my 10K from the pocket, it's not exploitation. Haujaninyonga kingori. Umeniambia this glass is worth 10K. Take it, and then you bought it at 300. Most of me, as a person, I'll not even look at the price that you produced it for. It took your time, it took your effort, it took your skill. That time I could have used it somewhere else. Maybe I used it to now get the 10K. And from your view, you're seeing that 10K is worth, giving me this item is worth 10K, and I'm having that 10K, and I'm comfortable removing that 10K from my pocket to give you. It's not exploitation.
So mimi nikitoa 10K nunue glass 300, alafu niende ni Google nipate inafaa kuwa 300, I am a cow and I deserve to be turned into a bag.
Why is it that when you are coming to take the glass, you didn't know that you could Google it? Mbona uko Google before kujia glass? It's a lack of information from your end. That is why huyo mwalimu alienda learn that information before you nakakuja kufunza. So it's something of, it's not, I don't think it's exploitation. When you're going to buy an item, ask yourself, am I comfortable to remove this amount? Haujanyongwa, haujafusiwa. I don't do that personally, but then when it happens to me, I'll leave a learned person. In that baadaye labda niseme venye nasema story na glass niende ni learn it's 300 somewhere else, it will be a matter of Felix, mbona hii information sikupata mapema? So maybe next time when I want to buy a cup, let me Google first before going to buy the same cup. Huyu mtu ali need 10k to pay the rent or rather something else, whatever amount walitaka. You went there yourself. You weren't forced into it. But then you took it and you are at peace when leaving the place. It's not exploitation. Exploitation from my end, I think, maybe if it's in terms of labor. Umama umefanyia mtu job for a whole month na nakupea 20 bob. That's exploitation because it's not making sense. But then when it comes to a commodity, even the glass, when you tell me it's worth 300 million, what if it could have been 300 million before what the information you added previously was there? Labda ulizaliwa upate kama ni 300 million, haungesema ni exploitation because umeipata kama ni 300 million. So it's a matter of, it's fluctuating.
Felix.
Yes?
Asante sana for making time for us. Thank you for agreeing to come to our show. Wadau, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, Felix Fashions na Ngozi Leather, namba zao ziko hapa. In the spirit of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, I reached out to Felix from TikTok, from your TikTok account, because I loved the kind of shoes you're making, si ndio? Na asante sana for your tu vile tumei set up nini new kuja hapa. Na personally, my main objective ni kuonesha watu that it is possible.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. Narudi kwa hiyo research ya exploitation. Najua tutakutana na wewe kwa meza siku nyingine.
Haina shida.
Asante sana.
I'll be happy to come.
Asante.
Nimeshukuru.